Recorded in their mother's basement, Super Nerdland brings you Graded Point 5, where in a comic book it would be worth less than the polybag it comes in.
Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to Operation Retcon, presented by Graded Point 5. This week we're going to be talking about the pre-crisis and leading into the Infinite Crisis. That's all I can really say about that. Joining me this week are Jordan.
Hello.
Piper.
Hey.
She was actually on time, so give her a hand.
I'm always on time. What the hell?
Women.
Yeah.
I'm not. I've never been the last one.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. And you heard the women hater himself, Cab.
I respect women.
Oh,
I'll
sorry.
have you know.
I forgot.
With my fist.
This is off to a roaring
fuck.
start.
Oh, you know it.
So, yeah. This week on Operation Retcon, we're going to talk about, let's might as well say it's a totality and just call it Infinite Crisis. And boy, was it a crisis, and not for the reasons that DC wanted it to be. But a quick go over. If you've read or watched any of our other stuff, you know, on one point during the Graded Point 5 podcast, we'll have talked about Identity Crisis, which I think most of us that have read it would agree was really good.
Yeah.
And I said at the time, while that was a great story, it was the beginning of the end, and this is the end. And it's really not the end because there was two more things that kind of ruined it too. But this is basically the end of the beginning of the end. If that makes sense.
There's some bullshit I have to say about all.
Yeah. So a quick overview. So Identity Crisis is basically, there was a book that most comic fans will know is called Crisis on Infinite Earths, where DC took all of the infinite Earths, which, you know, infinite timelines and infinite dimensions of different Earths and whatnot, and squished them all into one. And then for some reason, 20 some odd years later, they decided they want to try to undo some of that and bring back this and that and the other and put it all back into continuity. I give them credit for wanting to try something different. I don't give them credit for how they did it because it literally gets from, it looks like it might be interesting to, oh my God, baby, what are you doing?
Yeah, the idea of trying to straighten out like 70 years of continuity, like that makes sense because that shit is stupid, especially because of the way time frame moves. And people aren't. This isn't the 1950s anymore, and trying to straighten it all out and get it all on one page makes sense. But just the way it went about it was like, oh God, dude, what are you doing?
And so the reason why I think where most of us are going to be having an issue with it, like I said, is that not only was there a this long quote Infinite Crisis storyline, there was like 6 other storylines going on that led up to Infinite Crisis that were going on at the same time, and they all were supposed events. So DC did something, when you talk about event fatigue, somehow DC did that all in the span of 6 months.
Yes.
And here's the thing: a lot of the stuff that was going on, no one fucking cared about.
Exactly. It's like, okay,
they were events in name only. Like no one's like, I don't care about this guy.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was like Villains United and Catman. Nobody knew who Catman was or even cared, And you had the only one that I found interesting in that in those was the Crisis of Conscience, which was just basically what happened after Identity Crisis. So I thought that was interesting, kind of explaining what was going on, how that information of like mind wipes and things like that could be used, again, and all that stuff. The one that the OMAC, I mean, that one, I mean, I can kind of get it because the OMACs was used in Infinite Crisis to kind of start killing superheroes and stuff like that. I kind of get where that would fit in, but at the same time, it's like they really need its own storyline.
Yeah, that's you're talking about the stuff with the Blue Beetle.
Yeah, like Blue Beetle fighting. Yeah,
was it Maxwell Lord?
Yeah, Maxwell Lord kills Blue Beetle. And, Maxwell Lord kills Blue Beetle. Wonder Woman kills Maxwell Lord because he had, I don't even think that was mentioned in the material we read, but Wonder Woman killed Maxwell Lord because he had taken control of Superman.
Yeah, he did a mind control thing on Superman, and
Yeah, he did a mind control thing on Superman, and it basically to stop him from making Superman do really bad stuff, she killed him. And I could understand, like, to a degree, I can understand like where Batman would come from on that, where he's like, you shouldn't kill somebody. I get that. But Superman, he was kind of being sanctimonious about the whole thing. It's like, dude, you were the one being controlled. Like, it was kind of your fault for letting your guard down. What the hell, you Superman?
Yeah,
You're let that shit happen.
Well, here's sort of my contention with that is who fucking cares about the Blue Beetle?
I mean, you right.
And the whole thing started with like, oh no, this motherfucker stole $20 million from me. Batman, help me! And then Batman's like, no, do it yourself, you bitch.
Yeah,
I got more shit to do on Earth. I don't have your fucking bank account, worried about that shit. And so he got fucked. What was it? The guy helped him out was Booster Gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one that helped him out. He's the only other guy like no one ever fucking cares about that guy too.
So my favorite part about that was though Booster Gold's like, all right, I'll help you, and then he gets fucking laid out by an explosive trap. Like the one nigga who's like, sure, friend, I'll help you. Oh shit, can't now.
Well, I mean, Blue Beetle took one to the dome, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, so yeah, Booster Gold.
I think Booster came out on top of that one. Getting blown up is not a big problem.
So, and also, just to mention real quick, what another bad thing that came from this was like Aftermath, which you had the 1 year later, and this is where DC they do this every 10 years, where they try to do soft reboots. And this one led to 1 year later, where basically in that 1 year, that Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman disappeared.
They had a vision
for an entire year,
like a walkabout.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but what was really dumb about it is they did a weekly series called 1 year late. Called I forgot what they called it. Oh crap. But anyway, basically there was a weekly series where they were talking about a world without those three. But then the next month, it doesn't matter because. So you basically had a 1 year long series going on where they're talking about a world without Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman. But the next month they're talking about, oh, look, it's Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Yeah, they're back after 1 year. We time skipped. We're done.
Yeah, that's the weird thing that like they were trying to set the continuity straight, and then but we're gonna skip an entire fucking year.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, exactly. Okay.
I mean, that's how you do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Could you imagine if you're watching Star Trek and then all of a sudden the next episode is like 2 years later, Captain Picard's fucking drunk, he got demoted, and then you're like, what the hell happened between him fighting the Borg and now he's a fucking drunk pillhead on fucking Rigel 5 or whatever.
See, here's the problem, Cab. You're implying I'd be gay enough to watch fucking Star Trek.
Listen here, you son of a bitch.
Gonna be some.
Now I will completely admit the Next Generation can be kind of fucking fruity, but Deep Space Nine is the shit. You gotta watch it.
Deep Dick's 9.
But
Dick's out for Cisco.
Yeah, for Cisco.
He's the best captain, and don't fucking at me.
I mean, I'm not gonna disagree with the truth. But,
nobody's gonna disagree.
Wrong.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Nobody listened to the woman. She don't know what she's fucking talking about.
I got it. She says Janeway. I'm kicking her fucking out right now.
I'm putting on my women respecting gloves right this.
Where's my goddamn respect women juice? I'm gonna drown this bitch with it.
Yeah, it also happens to also be Monster Zero energy.
What?
No, it's Monster Zero mixed with Mike's heart.
Getting a little bit esoteric there, aren't we?
Yeah. Okay, let's dig into the autism here. Okay. As we did in previous episode, we kind of take turns, and I'm gonna let Piper go first. Piper, what did you think was wrong with this storyline?
Besides all of it.
Oh.
All right,
that was
show's
short.
over.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
see, this one is so exhausting to even pick apart. It's reading it becomes like work.
That's a good
if you
point.
Want to follow, you're like, all right, they're referencing shit that I have to go find, figure out what the hell else they're referencing. It's convoluted. It's confusing. It's not even, for the most part, like the most interesting things about it, it's easier to go and look those up on Wiki than actually read it. Like,
That is an excellent point. I thought the same thing. It was like, this is too much. That I think that's the biggest play where I think they went wrong. It was too much going into it that you had to know. Whereas something like, you know, to use the example for Infinity Gauntlet from Marvel, you didn't. I mean, they had side stories and stuff like that, you know, into different books, but all you had to do was read Infinity Gauntlet. You got the story.
yeah.
You knew exactly what was going on. This was like, they start off as like, oh, the Spectre's going crazy. Why is the Spectre going crazy? You know? They don't explain any of that.
It starts to feel like work. It's like I don't know. It's like grinding in a game where it doesn't feel like a game anymore. It feels like work.
Hold up.
Reading it started to feel like work. Like I needed to do research and.
So Piper, I got a question for you. Would it be safe to say that reading this was like the Dark Souls of comic books?
Yes, there we go.
If that was true, I would have read it in 5 minutes because that shit's easy. People who binge about Dark Souls are below subhuman.
It's just a meme. Calm down, Jesus.
No, I'm gonna fight every motherfucker I see.
God damn it. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much your overall thoughts on what was wrong.
Yeah, like I said, it's too convoluted for me to pick apart. I can pick apart solid stories and find stuff to be all autistic about, but this one was like pure autism already, so I was like, nah.
It did your job for you, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like, no, it can be convoluted and too detailed all by itself.
Can you imagine being too autistic for an autist?
Right?
That's fair. Frankly, that's fucking impressive.
Yeah, I like this series now.
Okay, Jordan, what do you think?
To expand upon what Piper said, it's a very convoluted story. It's one that it starts at least with Countdown to Infinite Crisis. They start off pretty interesting. They lay the groundwork for a lot of shit that doesn't fucking pay off at all.
Yeah,
like
that doesn't.
Like the whole thing with like Blue Beetle trying to figure out who took his fucking money, and he stumbles upon something a lot larger than what he initially thought it was, and it's shit that is like, hey, join me, motherfucker. He's like, nah, I don't think so, and he gets fucking domed, and it's like, all right, let's jump to the people who are in the Paradise Realm. They're fucking pissed, and then Superboy Prime's gonna fucking he's gonna punch the multiverse back into existence.
I was going to lead into that, but that's a good point.
Just like, yeah. What the? I as I went through this, I went, hold on, what? I found myself going,
this is my thought process.
I was like,
when I was trying to follow.
huh? Because you could have done something really cool with that, and I will get to that when we talk about how we would fix this shit. But it's a story that they tried to do too much, and even though this is something that went on for like a full year, it feels like they still tried to cram too much bullshit into one fucking story. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my general overview about where they fucked up. It's too much shit in the kitchen.
Too many cooks. Yeah.
No, it's not even too many cooks. It's too many fucking entrees in the kitchen.
Yeah, it was Jeff Johns like making way too many dinners.
Yeah, it really was.
It wasn't too many Jeff Johns. It was just him way too overloaded.
That's a situation where I've said this before. When a writer does something good for you, i.e. Green Lantern, and they done really good with it, you know, with the establishment of the different cores and, you know, XYZ and, you know, all that good stuff. And then you give them too much power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they're really good at one focus things. Like, yeah, good. Oh, we're gonna give you 10 things now. I was like, oh shit, what do we do? Same thing happened
with Grant Morrison and Marvel. Like Grant Morrison had a great freaking run in the Justice League comics in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And it was so good and so well received that, you know, oh, Marvel, now we signed him. We're going to give him the X-Men. And then they said, and you can do anything you want.
What wasn't wasn't Grant Morrison? Wasn't he actually involved in this story?
No, not in this one.
He wasn't in the Infinite Crisis stuff.
No, he wasn't involved.
I thought
in
he
this
was.
stuff. He was still with Marvel at the time.
Oh, he's still at Marvel. Okay.
Yeah. But his, this was just to give a quick thing. Grant Morrison was the Black Leather. Everybody has a second mutation run of the X-Men.
The best
He's
one.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to call it that,
it makes it easier to call it that.
I guess if we're an opposite world, sure, it's the best.
Isn't that the run where Beast, he turned into a fucking cat?
Yeah, he turned into a cat. Emma Frost got a fucking diamond form for whatever reason. Oh, the reasoning was great. Well, she's called the White Queen, and she's also called Emma Frost, so diamonds
makes perfect sense. I don't know what you're complaining about.
Yes, Grant. Yes, Grant. That's perfect. Whatever. All right. So, obviously, leaving our stuff for the fixing part. Is that your kind of your thoughts on what went wrong there, or so I can go on?
Yeah, we can go on to Cab now.
Okay. All right, Cab. What do you think went
Thanks,
wrong?
guys.
Hey, I'm always thinking of you, baby.
The first thing before I get into that, I wanted to point out something that how the story started with Blue Beetle getting his money stolen, everyone telling him to fuck off because no one likes him. Except Booster Gold.
Right?
Now,
Ted.
the cover, yeah, the cover of the comic after Batman told him to fuck off is Batman holding dead Blue Beetle, like they're all crying, like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he got shot in the head." It's like you told him to fuck off, and then this is what happened.
Oh shit, we should have told him to fuck off.
Yeah, you're kind of a piece of shit. Like, I get it. No one likes this guy because fucking Blue Beetle.
Especially Batman, that should haunt him forever, just like his parents.
I don't think any of that shit ever came up in the entire story again.
No, it didn't matter.
They're like, oh, that sucks.
That's sort of all right. That's one of my problems. Is like the beginning of it has nothing to do with what happened,
right?
And I think where they were kind of trying to go was sort of like a Watchmen's route. You know how the Watchmen starts at kind of like low level, like just doesn't who fucking cares? It's just some.
And it builds up to
some
level.
Crazy shit. Yeah, I think that's where they were trying to like kind of try to do, but they didn't focus it. Like the Watchmen was just a single book or a single series of books.
Right.
This one was over a year of what, like 20 different titles.
More than that.
I mean, they had
new shit come out every 2 weeks.
Not even the tie-ins. Not even the tie-ins. We're talking just the Infinite Crisis
line
book itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
The OMAC project, the Villains United, which led to the Society and the Secret Six and all that stuff, which that was kind of interesting, in all honesty. That was, if there was anything interesting about it, was like, Lex Luthor, who was not Lex Luthor, it was Alexander Luthor, formed a society for all the villains, basically uniting all the villains like the heroes were united, which was honestly,
they made like an evil Justice League is what it was.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're going to do that, that's actually a good idea. It's like
get a bad guy union going.
Yeah, get a bad guy union going. That's kind of makes sense. Yeah, get a pension. Well, if Lex Luthor is funding it, hey.
All right, another quick thing. They didn't let Joker into the society.
That comes into play at the very end of Infinite Crisis too.
Yeah.
Which was good. Yeah,
that's how we got the memes that we live in a society.
Yeah,
people don't know that.
I thought that was a perfect ending for at least that character.
Yeah. Like the very because that was sort of like an aside, kind of. Oh, by the way, this happened at the end.
Yeah,
it wasn't like, oh shit, this happened. It was sort of like
in a way. I'm actually glad it happened because I never want to hear about Alexander Luthor ever again after this.
Yeah, he sounds like he's like the Luthor from that one Superman movie that no one likes.
Yes.
The autist with the guy that was the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The autistic one, we had hair and shit. Is like, what the get out of here. No, that's stupid.
Oh, you're talking about like Batman versus Superman?
Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, Batman versus Superman.
Scrawny, nerdy. Yeah,
that guy. I fucking hate that guy.
I think we all do. I think everybody in the world hates him.
I don't even know who his name is. I always confuse him with that Michael Cera guy, but they're like,
I don't remember his fucking name. Fuck him. Hope he dies.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically the same kind of actor.
Yeah.
They're just nerds.
They're literally like there's the guy. They're the guys that are in those movies. And you're like, oh wait, they're in that movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like you really don't care, you know. But anyway, that's here and there.
But
like,
yeah, all right.
But yeah, you know you get a good point because I kind of it's because that's another thing. There's so much stuff you can't get it all. Like I said, OMAC Project, Villains United, with Crisis of Conscience, which honestly that was probably the best one out of all of them because at least it tied into Identity Crisis.
Yeah.
That made sense that would tie in to be and then lead into the next event. Right. Oh, and Day of Vengeance. Oh God, don't even get me started on Day of Vengeance.
Oh, we're gonna be here for like 3 hours. What are you saying?
Well, no, basic. So I mean, I thought we had the whole Gene Loring thing tied up in it. Identity Crisis. Nope. Nope.
No. Which one? Gene who?
Gene Loring. She was the Adams wife. She was the one that was in Arkham, and she got taken over by Eclipso.
As one
See,
does.
this is the problem. It's like this shit's like. Here's the thing. There was the Crisis event that happened like 20 years before all this stuff.
Yeah. The Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yes.
Earth and Earth. Yeah. See, I wasn't a huge DC guy like back in the day. I had a couple, mostly Batman, a couple Superman, but I had stuff from that, like because I tried to collect some of the older ones, and I remember reading that stuff, and even then, it was a bit complicated back then. And this is the fucking 80s or something.
What was
I
good
read
about,
it like in the 90s, but that's when it came out.
one good thing about Crisis on Infinite Earths, there were no tie-ins, right? There were, there were across different books. It all happened in that book.
Yeah. That was the thing. It was just the one collection. It's like that was the main story.
And then after that was finished publication, that 12-issue publication, then they did the new continuity.
Right.
Which made sense then because it's like, oh, I just read a story where everything got squished.
Yeah, everyone's one Earth now,
I can't believe they're living. Live in a day and age where DC has messed up so bad, where Crisis on Infinite Earths looks like their actual good work,
where they've actually got their shit together.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta admit though, like 80s Batman was pretty dope. That's when he started getting cool again.
Yeah, that's true. That was during the Mark Miller deconstruction of the superhero era and all that stuff. Yeah. So
Michael Keaton, come on.
Yeah, Michael Keaton. It's funny to me, like still Michael Keaton's still one of the better Batman.
If you would have said like in the 1950s, Michael Keaton will make a great Batman. No, not 1950s, like 1970s or something when Michael Keaton was first.
70s, the early 80s. Yeah,
he's like this comedian actor is going to be the greatest Batman ever. People be like, what the fuck? Are they doing another Adam West one? Is that what you're telling me? It's like, no, it's going to be edgy Batman. It's going to be good. It's going to have what was the director's guy? The weird one.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but
Edward Scissorhands Man. I can't remember.
That, Tim Burton.
That's his name.
Burton.
Tim
Burton.
Yeah.
Edward Scissorhands Man. That's
I don't know. There's a lot of shit going on.
It was the 80s, man. I mean,
A lot of stuff was going on then.
America was literally defeating commies, so there was a lot of stuff going on.
There's a lot of good shit going on.
Yeah.
Miami Vice.
Jesus fucking Christ.
18. Come on.
Guys, did I mention how much I like pastels and custom Chevy vans?
I'm wearing a white suit jacket right now.
Fucking hell.
And I am in a custom Chevy van right now because
no, I have like a long kind of like pseudo mullet. You know how they had back then.
Unlike our friend Scrump, I don't live at home. I live in a car.
I'm also a mercenary for some reason.
I'm a soldier of fortune.
Yeah. But
if no one else can help.
but going back to like the problems I had with the story, obviously, was the beginning started out like, okay, yeah, it's like a weird mystery sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of starts evolving into a bigger story. But the thing is, the bigger story had nothing to fucking do with anything. It was just some guy lost a bunch of money, and Batman told him to kiss his ass, and he got shot in the face, and that was it.
That's another thing that bothered me. Like, who did Maxwell Lord work for anybody? Did Checkmate, was that influenced by, anybody? No. It was just there.
I think wasn't it sort of implied that the society and Luthor and stuff, they were sort of behind things?
I mean, it might have been implied, but it should have been explicitly said, because this is a...
Yeah, the comic books are not really good for subtext and things. Because it's a visual. You had to
It
see
should
it.
be straight up said. He should have had Maxwell Lord after he domed Blue Beetle. He should have had a
had like a video conference with Luther or something like that.
Yeah,
or some other dude in the society.
Mm-hmm. Or it could have just been like, because they talked about the society had 6 main members. They could have been like him conferencing again the 6 members, talking to them about what just happened.
Yeah, dude, it could have been like that scene from the beginning of Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Yeah, just conferencing all the bad guys.
And then talking all cool and shit, smoking a cigarette. It would been dope.
Is that how you would fix it, Cab? Fucking after Lord fucking domes Blue Beetle, be like, "Sup, niggas? I just capped this motherfucker."
No, he would smoke a cigarette and then be on a cyberpunk video call with Lex Luthor. Yeah,
as one does.
Yeah.
That's one of my goals in life is to be in a cyberpunk video conference
with Lex Luthor.
Well, not Lex Luthor, but like the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
I want to join the Illuminati.
Well, I think that's everybody's goal in life.
Yeah. Oh, did I mention? Speaking of like things that make no sense, it makes sense to the degree of why, but still, did I mention the Rand Thanagar War?
No, you didn't. You didn't mention that.
You
didn't mention that.
Oh yeah. Why?
Yeah. All right, sort of give me a rundown of that, like, because I didn't.
Okay,
that was one of the side things that like had nothing to do with anything.
Okay, so you remember where they mentioned that in the Crystal Heaven that the Alex Luthor and Superboy Prime figured out a way to get out.
Right.
So the first thing Superboy Prime fucking does is he pushes Rand, which is the home of Adam Strange, and Adam Strange is like he's this. I think he's an Earthman who lives on that planet because his wife lives there and stuff like that. So the first thing he does is he comes back and he pushes the planet into Thanagar's orbit.
You do.
That makes sense.
Like, because, and then they have a war about it. Rand and Thanagar have a war. And then Thanagar, people don't know, that's like the Hawkman, Hawkgirls, like, homeworld and stuff. Yeah. So that's where they go. And they're a warrior race and yada, yada, yada. What I love is they did all that, right? They had this war. I mean, it was an intergalactic war. It was a big war. I mean, even the Guardians had to get involved. And it's like, all right, we need to separate this shit. That's how bad it was. And, so we're talking the Green Lantern Corps and a lot of space-based Earth, I say space-based Earth heroes, but you know what I mean. They're from Earth. Had to come and like try to, settle this shit down and all this stuff. And nobody at any point during that war asked, how did Rand get in Thanagar's orbit?
Yeah,
they just like, Rand's here, time to fight.
suddenly a fucking planet shows up and then.
Yeah, don't ask questions of how or why. Just like, they're in our orbit. They must be here to conquer us because Thanagars. If you think they're basically Klingons.
Yeah, so like they don't Hawk people Klingons.
Yeah. So they don't think like with their brains. They think with their battle.
Well, but you think at one point that some nigga would be like, "What? Hold up, how'd this planet get here?" Not that like, "Oh shit, battle stage. We're gonna kill this fucking planet." Wait, what, nigga? What? Hold up, stop.
Yeah. Also, the fact that we know that at least Thanagar is advanced enough to have space travel and stuff, so they probably mapped some of the star systems and whatnot. So they probably know where Rand is.
Well, not only that, like like even like Earth-based stuff, we could pretty much figure out. Oh, a comet's heading our direction. We better watch it. Now, a giant fucking planet is you can see that shit from literally light years away coming at you. So that doesn't sneak up on you.
And
planets don't move that fast.
And there's actually the funny thing. I remember this. There was a panel of Superboy Prime. And I don't know where he was, but he was just like, because this is how planets work, right? He was just underneath it, pushing it.
Like Atlas.
He wasn't in like. I mean, it didn't even. I mean, you could see space behind him and shit like that. I was like, no, that's not. No, he should be like. Wouldn't he be like in the? He would actually be on the planet. Yeah, he would be on the planet in the atmosphere. Like I mean, I can kind of get somebody of like Superman level strength. Probably pushing a planet. I can get behind that to a degree because, we're all talking about Superman, which Superboy Prime is basically Superman, just younger. But
it's all fucking dumb. It's real fucking dumb.
It's dumb.
Yeah. And here's the dumbest part about it.
Mm-hmm.
Not only during the actual war, it had no fucking bearing on the story at all.
Mm-hmm.
Then because of the way the story ended, it had no fucking bearing on anything.
Yeah, so they all
it was entirely pointless. It was just to sell fucking comic books for some war that no one gave a shit about.
Like a lot of people died for no reason, essentially.
Yeah, weren't they trying to do like what Marvel did around the same time? Was like they basically depowered all the mutants and had like a handful left because they were trying to just get rid of all the fucking bullshit no one cared about.
Yeah,
and just like focus on X-Men, Spider-Man, and Iron Man, that kind of shit.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So this was their version of that entire event.
See, that was
Infinite
another.
Crisis.
It's funny you mentioned that because when Infinite Crisis happened, at the same time Civil War was happening at Marvel. Now I have my own issues with Civil War, but that was an infinitely better story
because it was more concisely told and had a coherent story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though I didn't like the outcome, which I thought, because some characters were like out of character for me, I thought, but it still made, it was a coherent story. You only had to read the main book. In fact, Marvel went out of their way to say, you only have to read this book. If you want to read the side stuff, cool. But you only had to read this one to get the whole story.
Yeah, and you're over here thinking, oh man, I'm going to read the Infinite Crisis about the stupid war, and then it had nothing to do with anything.
Well, it's
they don't even tell you, like, LOL, fuck you.
One of the panels is like literally, because they mentioned it in the, in the research. One of the panels in the comic in the first issue is literally the Spectre in the skies of Gotham.
Right.
When the was it the Rock of Eternity got destroyed? Right. I'm like, if nobody knew what was going on in Day of Vengeance, they would not have any context of why the Spectre is here doing this.
Yeah, like that's the biggest problem that had shit piled onto it that didn't, unless you read 40 other issues of something else, it didn't, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
And even then, even if you learned the backstory of all this shit, it had nothing to do with anything. It has nothing to do with Superboy Prime, nothing to do with Alex Luthor, has nothing to do with Earth 2s and all that. It did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid, it's gay, and I don't like it.
Very, very good closing statement right there.
Putting that up there.
Yeah, very good closing on that one.
By the way, quick question: which version of Earth is the one that's inhabited by cat girls?
Is there one in Earth C?
I was gonna say it'd be Earth Nya
for cat. Yeah, but the only problem is it's not what you think. It's like they're all cat girls, but they're actual literal cats. They're not. They're girl cats.
Oh man,
they're just feral cats with human-like intelligence. So I mean, if you want a fucking actual cat vagina, then I mean you're set, fam.
Yeah,
kind of fucking weirdo are you? I'm over here talking about cat girls, and you want.
I'm not saying I want that. I'm just saying that's what I mean, Earth Nya has.
That's I don't even know you mean.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I guess we should just get into how after we explain how convoluted it is, how we fix this shit. So, let's see, Mulatto, you go first because you seem to have a lot of.
I got a lot. How you would go about strap this. In, folks. So here's how I would fix it.
All right.
And this fix, I'm not even sure if it's that much of a fix, goes back to the previous crisis, would be Crisis of Infinite Earths, because they basically make it from going from a multiverse to a singular universe, right? So my general idea is you want to make this interesting, you want to make this an actual crisis. So, when they make everything one Earth, people just get plopped onto, Earth 1. What happens if you take a villain like Doomsday, and let's say that each one of these multiverses has a Doomsday, and they all get combined into one fucking guy? You got
Ultra Doomsday.
Super Ultra Mega Doomsday will fuck your shit up with one punch.
Yeah, you have Doom Guy Day.
Exactly. You got a fucking super shotgun and everything. So you see, Superboy Prime and Alexander Luthor. They're in paradise, but they can see some shit going down. They know something bad is going down. They not only can they see it, they can fucking feel it. A very powerful evil force is at play, and it's Mega Doomsday. And what Mega Doomsday is doing is he's hunting down Kryptonians. And the first person he goes for is Power Girl. And he's got her isolated, and she is fighting alone, and this bitch is about to fucking die. And for whatever reason, you can bring up some convoluted bullshit about Superboy Prime having a crush on her or some bullshit. So right before Super Ultra Mega Doomsday is about to kill her, he has the idea, well, if creating a singular universe is what made him this powerful, if I recreate the multiverse, it'll split him off into however many doomsdays that that he was created from. So he punches reality real fucking hard, because that's how you create a fucking multiverse. And it fragments everything, and it does.
In the process, depowering the doomsday. That's
it doesn't depower that doomsday.
Oh,
that doomsday is an anomaly that was created by combining all the multiverses into one universe, and he just fucking stays that way. But then from that point, the story becomes you have to get Earth 1 Superman, Earth 2 Superman, Superboy Prime, and then regular Superboy have to team up as the Supermen. Because even though he tries to save Power Girl, she's fucking dead. She gets torn in half. She's real fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
And
so she's the sacrificial. She died. This is the character.
Yeah,
big character is going to die.
She is. I mean, you can call it putting women in refrigerators. I'm going to say putting women in the fucking cosmos, because she got fucking flung. And yeah, so
obliterated,
the infinite crisis in this instance is the fact that now that there's a multiverse, this Doomsday is aware of the multiverse, so all he wants to do is go through each multiverse, because he now has multiverse hopping powers, and he just wants to kill all the Kryptonians.
That's a good thing, and it's funny because I always felt the way they showed Doomsday in this book was stupid. And I'm going to quote a friend of mine. We had the same conversation when this happened. So they bring in Doomsday, who apparently was in the center of the Earth. I'm shrugging right now.
It's nice and warm there, dude. Shut up.
Yeah. So he shows up, and of course this is Doomsday, so of course he's wrecking shit, right? So Superman and Superman of Earth 2, I guess we'll call him Kal-El because that's easier. They double team him, and they both knee him in the face and kill him.
Like you do.
Now, yeah, but if you know anything about Doomsday, we all know he can't be killed the same way twice, right?
Yeah, but real quick,
wait a minute.
though.
Wait.
Right.
I got to finish this thought because I'm going to repeat what my friend said because we had this discussion. And we made the point is my friend said, well, wait, Superman killed him like that when they first confronted each other.
Mm-hmm.
You're right in the face, right? He killed him. He hit him in the face so hard he died. And then I said, well, when you look at it, they use their knees. And he says, it doesn't matter what part of the body you use. He got killed because he got hit in the real piece.
Was this Shamil, by the way?
No, it wasn't Shamil.
It sounds like a Shamil thing, but
no, it was my friend Brad. It was he just had a nice little moment. He says, you cannot be killed the same way because no matter what part of the body was used, he was still hit in the grill piece.
my thing with that was like, have you ever been kneed in the face? That shit hurts, man. Come on.
Yeah, but this is also fucking Doomsday, so
yeah, but you got kneed by Superman, so
two of them at that.
Two of them. You think about that's gonna fucking ring your bell.
Mm-hmm. But what I also like about Jordan's idea is that it doesn't turn Superboy Prime into a dick.
Yeah, that was the one of the problems I had with the whole thing is the Superboy Prime is like, I'm pissed off. It's like, why? I don't know.
Yeah,
punch.
When I was going through this, that was the first thing that I was thinking. I was like, okay, how do we have him recreate the multiverse in a way that's meaningful and not just I'm angsty and mad. So I'm gonna punch the.
Mm-hmm. Which that always made no for both of them. It made no sense, and I understand. Alexander Luthor was younger than Lex. So he's not as young as Superboy Prime, but obviously you can say they're close in age. But they had the influence.
They supposed to be 20s or something? I don't.
Yeah. But I'm saying they had the influence of Kal-El and Lois Lane, like Earth 2 versions. How could they be that messed up?
Yeah, that was the thing, is that they wanted to use Earth 2 as the template to remake the multiverses. Yeah,
Kal-El wanted to use Earth 2 as the template because how do you put it to Superman? He said, because you messed it up so badly. And Earth 2 was the only good one. But then Superman made a point, and I was like, that's a good fucking point. He says, if Earth 2 was so perfect, it wouldn't need a Superman.
That was really nice.
Wasn't it like the point of divergence is that he was mean to fucking Robin or something? Or
It was something like that because
It was some real- really, like, you were a
point of
dickhead to
divergence,
this one person.
he asked Batman asked him would Dick Grayson be a good Batman or was he the best Robin? That's what he asked.
Yeah.
And then he said no. And then that's when Batman did, "No, you're full of shit." Because I think in Earth 2, that's where because actually in Earth 2, Batman like the Bruce Wayne retired and Batman ended up being Dick Grayson and
because Earth 2 is the 1930s,
it's golden age,
40s one, so
the 30s and 40s.
Time would have had to mark, so Batman would be old as fuck by that point.
Yeah. He'd be an old man. Yeah.
But
it doesn't matter because they got destroyed. The only people who didn't get destroyed in the Crunch from the first Crisis was Kal-El, Lois Lane, Alexander Luthor, and Superboy Prime. So they were the only ones that were left from that merger. Well, I guess you could say there were others because they were sprinkled into Earth, like
Power
1.
Girl, right? Because she originates from Earth 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They even said that like she seemed to be an anomaly that kind of got slipped through because Power Girl was basically Supergirl but grown up. Yeah, because she was older. Like I said, the only thing you got to remember big about Earth 2 is everybody's older. So that was the big, and then so basically on Earth, on New Earth, you got 2 Supergirls essentially. That's why that was kind of that was kind of interesting because that was one of the cool little things they did when they reintroduced Supergirl into DC. Whenever they met, Power Girl's powers would go crazy because it was basically like 2 live wires touching each other. Because it was just like causing sparks and shit. So they couldn't interact with each other for a while because it just spiked her powers because she shouldn't be there. And reality was kind of going crazy. So yeah, go ahead.
I got a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if like you're if you meet your multiverse self and you fuck him, is that gay?
Yes. See, it's
no. Sort of like banging your clone, right?
Here's the thing:
is it
if
just
you fuck your
jerking
clone,
off?
that's just masturbation. An alternate reality, like multiverse version of you, is not a clone because it's going to be like similar, but you're also going to have a little bit of difference. Like, Earth 1 Superman and Earth 2 Superman are similar, but they're not genetically identical. Whereas a clone is genetically identical.
Okay, now say your multiverse version of you is a chick. Is that incest?
Yes.
I mean, it's self-sex.
You're not in the same family.
Yeah.
This is very confusing and
welcome to
sexy
DC Comics.
Are you trying to say that
The bottom line is that your kids
gonna be flipper
are going to
babies.
look retarded.
Yeah. So Cab, are you trying to say that Lady Cab would be a sexy woman? Is that what you're
Oh, of course.
A sexy woman with a broken body.
And I would
Yeah. Okay, so we got Mulatto's idea, which I like, is that take the super men and combine,
make them team.
Make them a super team to take out Mega Ultra Doomsday.
Yeah.
And that would be the prime point. There would be like there wouldn't be other shenanigans going on.
The only thing would just be like, oh shit, the converging created the biggest threat that DC Comics knows, and we have to take the strongest people of DC Comics to beat it.
Mm-hmm. See, that makes sense too because what was the biggest threat to Superman? Doomsday. That was like his biggest. It killed him. I mean, that's how big a threat it was. So the like combining realities, like when you did that, you created a. I'm about to go Metal Gear Solid 3 here. Time paradox, or I guess you'd say dimensional paradox would be a more where all these other Doomsday should have been created on these different Earths, but they didn't. And so they kind of combined into one super mega ultra Doomsday. Are we going to say at that point he's separate from the regular Doomsday? Because I feel like that would be important because it wouldn't,
Well, wouldn't it just all be? There'd just be one Doomsday.
He would.
Well, what I'm saying is like, when would I guess I should ask like, what would be the trigger point for Mega Ultra Doomsday to come into being? Because we already had Doomsday that killed Superman, in the past. So would it be like it's trying? I guess you could say reality is trying to create the extra Doomsdays, but it's not working. So they're kind of putting them on the other Doomsday. Yeah. That oh my gosh, you just gave me a good idea, because one of the things, this is just refining your idea, right? One of the things with Doomsday, they say because of the way he's what a lot of people don't realize, Doomsday is Kryptonian, right? And he was basically a Kryptonian that was forced evolved to be him. And what is interesting about him is that no matter, you cannot kill him the same way twice, Because one of my friends made a good point. He said basically, if you drowned a Doomsday, he would grow gills, so he couldn't drown again. Right? If you ripped out his heart, he just wouldn't have a heart. He would live without a heart. He'd figure out another pumping mechanism or something like that. The body would grow another mechanism eventually. So essentially, he just became the like. But what would be interesting instead of that, where people thought that was what was happening, what was actually happening was reality was trying to make him right.
Oh, when you would kill Doomsday, he would actually come back as a different version of a reality Doomsday.
Yeah, and that's basically
it would still be the
reality
same Doomsday, but it's just a different reality's Doomsday.
Yeah, where Doomsday is just trying to make him right, quote unquote. The reality is trying to fix,
right? Basically, like hot swapping.
Itself.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like hot swapping, or like when what is it like? Sometimes computer programs when they try to fix itself,
it'll
adds
do
more code
it'll
and screws up.
Compile extra loops to see until you can get the proper loop to make whatever you're trying to make work. Yeah,
you're right, exactly. And so what eventually happens is, and the biggest thing has always been that Doomsday was kind of stupid, right? So I could see eventually like gaining intelligence, self-awareness, and then eventually figuring out like maybe,
I was gonna say, if you combine several Doomsdays, then he'd be like have the memories and knowledge of all the other Doomsdays, so he'd be like figuring shit out.
Yeah, that would be a good way to go too. He starts figuring out. And then, so I'm thinking a Doomsday, like you said, that wants to kill Kryptonians, that has the 9th level intellect. So we're talking like Brainiac level, intelligence. He's figuring out that he's basically could end up being the ultimate being, and that's why he starts like going rampant. And then, like I said, when Superboy Prime accidentally, and this point you're saying it's an accident,
no, it's not an
multiple
accident.
realities.
He had this idea.
It was okay. I got you. Alex Luthor and him were like, hey, maybe if we create realities, they'll break apart.
But because of his anomalous nature, he's just like, nope, I'm going to stay super ultra mega Doomsday. Also,
and with that, you could have Alex Luthor's motivations that he knew that it wasn't going to work that way. He just wanted to kill Superman.
I really fucking like that. That's really good.
What Luthors do.
Yeah, I like
he was playing Superboy Prime.
I like the fact that no matter what, a Luthor is always going to end up doing evil shit.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of because Alexander Luthor was born on Earth 3, where Earth 3, there were the bad, all the villains were the main thing. They had like Ultraman and Power Woman and things like that, Owlman, and the Lex Luthor of that world was the good guy, right? And so he sent Alex Luthor to Earth 1 to get him away from, because that was one of the first Earths that like got destroyed in the Crisis. I mean, that was like one of the wipeout by the Anti-Monitor. It actually got wiped out, so it didn't get combined, right? So, but I've always said it'd be, because I think even Alex Luthor makes a comment about like it'll always be a Luthor that kills a Superman. He made that comment at some point in the story, in the regular story. But yeah, I like that. It's like, so basically, he just added on to the problem because he knew it would add on to the problem. He just wanted to see a bunch of super Kryptonians get killed because he blames them for everything that's wrong.
Well, it makes a reason for him to actually be in the fucking story. Like, he has a motivation.
Yeah. So you really got two villains. One that's like being on the sly, and one that's being very overt.
Yeah, that's sort of where I think this thing was sort of like kind of going with the whole Alexander Luthor and Lex with the society. Like I think they're trying to like kind of imply that they were manipulating things behind the scenes. But they never really outright said it or anything. And then Joker got mad because they wouldn't let him in and shot him.
But the thing, I think, how about this? How about this, Jordan? What do you think of this? Not only is he manipulating like the situation to try to, get his Supermen killed and all the Supermen killed, he actually knows about, he knew about the Mega Doomsday, and Mega Doomsday knew about him, and they were actually already communicating.
I do like that.
So they were actually, they're actually starting to work together and shit like that, and they manipulated. Basically, we could have like Mega Doomsday was like, his biggest thing was like tracking Kryptonians. He didn't know how to do it, and of course somebody as smart as Luthor would be like, "Oh, I can show you how to do that," And then that's when things started, and he goes after Power Girl first and all that shit. That would, yeah, that works.
It makes infinitely more sense than
yeah, exactly.
the actual story.
We took something that was very convoluted and actually condensed it down to something that could work. And then it would make sense
and you could
that
still have a year-long thing for it if you wanted to.
And you would make sense that you would need all the heroes to stop this fucking guy. You know, because this is when they say Omega level threats. This is like we're not kidding.
Right.
This is an Omega level threat.
Omega 2.
Yeah. Okay. So we got Mulatto's idea. That's pretty much the basis for your idea. Okay. You have any ideas, Piper?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Take all of the comics, all the offshoot comics, put them in a barrel, light a match, toss it in there, and stop trying to reboot the universe.
That's a
very pragmatic way
to go about
it.
Yeah. Yeah. I get why they did it, but they did it in like the worst way possible.
It's just so bad. Nothing makes sense as a standalone. And then they left tons of stuff open that was just like, no, we just wanted to say this happened. There's no reason for it.
So what would you do if you like how I did, where I went from fucking square one, I redid everything. What would you do to change this story to make it something that you think would make more coherent sense?
I do really like yours a lot and agree with that one a lot. It makes sense for a story, and then it gives everybody a same focus. It makes a lot of things make a lot more sense. I think my only thing is I would back up to Identity Crisis and really make that more of a kickoff to Infinite Crisis than it was.
Right.
Make that more of a catalyst than...
Yeah, make that a much bigger catalyst and let it play out throughout here and there. Maybe make Batman actually give a shit about Blue Beetle for a second.
I was about to say, like, you mean make the catalyst not Blue Beetle getting his money stolen?
Well, yeah, because apparently nobody gave a shit, so that didn't work as a catalyst.
Wait. Booster Gold did,
but
though.
Batman
He's a bro.
did give a shit. Batman did give a shit about the mind-wiping shit. So that would have been a lot better catalyst into just villains taking advantage of all the infighting and splitting up and this and that and various people getting memories back. If you want to retcon something, then people suddenly that you didn't know were mind wiped, suddenly regaining their memories is a really good way
that is
to
a very
change
good
the past.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or explain certain characters.
That's how they did it with
that.
Wolverine, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And so that would have been, to me, a really good catalyst because it was really already emotionally driven. And then it just kind of, it goes, yeah, and everybody's mad. And, oh man, fuck Blue Beetle, right?
On that note, I think I know the reason why, especially Batman didn't give a shit about Blue Beetle's money getting stolen. Because in the comic, he lost like $20 million. For Batman, that's like, oh shit, here.
Does nothing to Batman.
Have it.
That's how much he spends on replating his Batmobile after a fucking drive.
Well, I know, I understood why nobody would give a shit about Blue Beetle to begin with, but it was like after he was shot, nobody felt bad.
Well, no one felt bad.
Nobody really felt bad about the way.
Yeah, no one felt bad, but the cover was like, oh my god, the Blue Beetle got shot. What are we going to do now?
Yeah,
not give
and
a
it
shit.
looks like it would be almost emotional, and it's like, nah, that cover's about as emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Just
an
a big
excellent
womp womp.
Yeah. It wasn't a good catalyst. Very obviously, not even the characters are motivated, and they're fucking fictional. So how are you going to get the readers like interested?
I would have loved to have what it should have done with that situation. Tell me what you think of this. Instead of, because I would think Batman would have been more, he should have been more attentive, especially after Identity Crisis, like of weird shit happening. Because weird shit was happening, Tim Drake's dad died. So he's, and so I would think he'd be a lot more attentive than, and I could see it instead of like, and of course, Batman's got his shit to do. So he could be like in contact with Beetle, but not actually working beside him, And I could see it as like, Ted is in this situation and he says like, hey, Bruce, they got all our information, like when they're showing him in Switzerland, in the Alps, checking that shit. He's like, Bruce, they have everything. And he's like, who is they? Right. And then when Max comes in, Beetle says you, and then it cuts off. Batman can't hear him
Yeah.
anymore, right? Because they all know Max Lord. Max Lord used to like run Justice League International. He was like the benefactor, right? So he's not an unknown
Yeah.
at this point. The fact that he would go evil would be like, oh crap, that's like that would be a big red flag. How to tie it all together? That whole like, oh, he's working with Lex Luthor, Alex Luthor.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be a good tie-in from Identity Crisis to Countdown. What was it?
Yeah, Countdown to Infinite Crisis, and then Infinite Crisis. Yeah,
that's where Blue Beetle was, and then segue into eventually getting to the other idea for the rest of it, because I really like that.
See, and I think
and all of that could be in those 3 series. Should be the only offshoots: Identity Crisis, Countdown, and then the actual Infinite Crisis. Those should have really been the only comics floating around for this story. You shouldn't have had to look for the other tie-ins in order for the big story to make any sense. And even then, barely.
Right.
Are you telling me you weren't excited about the Rand Thanagar War? What's wrong with you?
The most compelling part of the story?
Yeah, that was the best part.
Right?
That had nothing to do with anything.
To take Piper's idea, just to put a little refinement on it, tell me what you think of this. Like you said, have that tie-in, that more direct tie-in, which makes more sense. But here's what they do. Instead of, holding on to that information, about, knowing their identities and shit, they release it. It just becomes public knowledge. Yeah. And that's, instead of like all the villains are already kind of working together, no, that's when they all start working together. Because now they know who these people are. They know their fucking families. They know, so now it's a war. It's not just like, oh, we're going to, you're robbing a bank and I'm going to stop you now. No, they're coming after my fucking family. Now shit's getting real,
Yeah.
And
more emotionally compelling. And if you need to kill off characters, another way to do it instead of that, stupid fucking war and shit didn't make any sense.
Yeah. I mean, this makes it. And then if you want to bring the mystical into it, that's when, I don't know if it would be if you want the Spectre to wild out still, which for whatever reason, it could be that the mystics of the, the universe, of the, the Earth, they said, all right, we need to fix this. And we're the only ones that can. And we're going to use all our mystics. We're going to basically mind wipe the whole world.
Yeah.
We're gonna mind wipe the whole world because it's the only way we can, contain this at this point. Because it should be a situation where it's like literally going to shit. Because you're talking about super beings just going wilding out all over the world.
Yes. And that is how you reboot a universe.
Yeah. And what the mystics, obviously they don't have enough power to do it. So the Spectre, being the fucking right hand of vengeance, has to come in and says, okay, with my power with yours, we're going to fix this, reboot the universe.
Yeah, that'd be a really good way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if the whole point is to do a reboot, then do a reboot. Don't do this like kind of panty anty bullshit where it's a soft reboot. No, go hard.
Yeah.
Then you can get a square one.
Dick straight out.
Yeah.
Is that before or after Super Dark Side?
Oh, well, you don't have to like basically the ideas don't have to intersect.
Because I like
so it's like your own idea.
Off of your thing, Piper.
No, I like playing into it though, because a lot of my thinking was in the beginning, how to kick it off better and get interest in the beginning and get more coherent to where things don't look like dead end stories that are barely pieced together. But
what's funny about that though? We could, if we wanted to make those two ideas intersect. We're talking about a bunch of mystics doing a bunch of mystic shit. What if that's how you make super mega Doomsday?
Yep.
They twisted shit so fucking much that would like mind wipe all of existence. So every hero's identity was safe. They almost made Doomsday like a fucking focal point for everything, and that's why. While everything else is, is scattered, and then when it gets condensed, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh! I got an idea. How you could do it? Think about this. Okay. Because this shit happened, right? Where everything got released. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows who they are and all that stuff. The first one they kill is Superman. because, like you said, having a focal point. Well, when you have a focal point, you have to use the most powerful thing in your universe, right? Superman.
Yeah.
He's dead. What's the second most powerful thing in the universe? Doomsday.
Cocaine.
No cocaine. This is not Snowflame. Get out of here.
So Wayne, I
He's the most
just
powerful being
I
in
just
any
thought of
comic
something.
ever.
So you say, kill Superman. What do you think about this? Instead, because they want to use Superman as a focal point, he is the entity who ends up becoming Super Mega Doomsday.
That would be a good one too.
You can. Oh yeah, you could accidentally combine the Doomsday
and that you
and a
can
Superman.
explain.
What a
That's
twist.
why he has a little bit more of that higher intelligence. Not only because he is by all your Doomsdays combined, I am Captain Doomsday. It's also because he has pre-reboot
But he also
Superman,
has Superman in
as
him.
as a main portion of who he is.
And so at that point in Paradise, you see
Like,
Superboy
oh, fuck.
Prime and Kal-El like, oh fuck.
Well, I
That
do
should be-
feel
that would be-
definitely like the trying to punch
Yeah,
the...
that's where like, all right, we
Yeah,
need to get out of
right.
here because shit has officially been fucked. Yeah. And then it would be, of course, you'd have to take regular Superman out of the equation for the moment.
Yeah.
Because you can always do shenanigans to get him, get him back. But
Oh,
for
yeah.
the moment, you have to. You basically got Kal-El, Superboy Prime, and Superboy because I don't want to not include.
Yeah,
him,
that was
'cause, by the
some
way,
nonsense.
him dying was all I thought was bullshit. Yeah, I was like, man,
Yeah,
what
that's
the
right.
fuck-
Superboy, he ate shit in this one.
Yeah, he got fucking wrecked.
Yeah.
Well, it happens.
Oh, he was one of the ones they wanted to kill off.
Well, you could kill him off eventually, right? But you got to use him.
They could make him not go down like a little bit.
Right,
though.
right.
Yeah.
In fact, it should be like he'd be the last one standing kind of thing, like able to still
Right.
fight, and he has got no chance in hell, but he's going to give it everything he's got, kind of thing. And so that would be, and so like after that,
he's just trying to slow down. He's not even trying to beat him.
yeah, he's just like basically y'all get out of here. I'll do, I'll hold him back, kind of thing. And he's giving everything he's got, and he's basically, could you see him like breaking his hands while he's trying to punch him and shit like that, And here's how to bringing the Spectre back into this. After the Mystics, I think the Mystics do this without the Spectre the first time, right? And they're like, oh great, we actually screwed up even worse. How can we fix this? And then the Spectre comes in and says, you need the divinity, because he's the they say he is the right hand of the presence, so he's got to come in. He's like, all right, I'll be the focal point, and then it takes it back to, and we reboot. After we reboot, Superman is back, Doomsday is wherever, and then, but they did that. Nobody remembers what happened except for the people who were directly involved. So I could see Superman, Clark Kent mourning Superboy.
Aw,
And basically saying he can live with the guilt in his mind that I killed him. And that'd be something, just to add to his character. It's like, oh gosh, I killed my nephew, essentially, or
Right.
he basically killed himself because that Superboy is like a clone. So
yeah. And that always gives a character depth,
yep. So
which is nice. And Superman could use some less convoluted depth for sure.
yeah, like one of those like you said, what do you call them?
Right.
Defining moments kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've done that. We're done. Okay, Cab, it's your turn.
Okay, I got a couple
All
ways
right,
to do this.
go for it.
The first one, which I don't know, this might not be a good idea, but I like it.
Mhm.
You have the Spectre, right? He's doing his magic shit, doing
Mhm.
like you guys are talking about. He's trying to reboot the world.
Mhm.
But what happens is he accidentally gets a clone of Aunt May.
I was about to raise my hand because I was like, I swear to God, if this nigga doesn't make an Aunt May joke. But you didn't let me down. I'm very proud of you, son.
And what we don't really know is Aunt May combines with Doomsday.
And
It
Doom.
becomes, and Doom.
I was going to say, yeah, she becomes Mayday.
Oh no, we just call it Mayday. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
Mhm.
And has to kill everyone. No, that's like a stupid joke. But the real one is something like Mulatto said. Like they're trying to do all this bullshit and it accidentally formed the Mega Doomsday. Right now, what if the only way to fight a Mega Doomsday is with a Mega Superman? So instead of them trying to break apart realities to break apart Doomsday, they're combining them to make a Super Mega
so you got something
Superman, so you can fight him. That way you. No, that way you can get rid of all the other, timelines and all that shit, and then you have the super, you can somehow like down the road say depower him so he's not like super ultra mega Superman. I mean, he already is that pretty much, but the point of it is that you have like a big war between two of them. Plus, that gives you like an actual motivation for why Superboy Prime did what he did, other than being edgy 20-year-old. Punching universes or something.
So you're saying he's trying to create other Supermen?
Like him. Then and I don't know. You could get a couple of them that realize, oh shit, Super Mega Doomsday. So you have like the Justice League and like the other versions of Superman. They could be like in contact with each other somehow, and they formed the plan to make a Super Mega Superman to fight the Super Doomsday. And weird shit can happen. That a lot of people are going to die. Then you could retcon a lot of combine the universes is what they were trying to do to make just the one timeline or dimension. I guess I don't know how you work it.
One reality, I guess, would be the
one reality. Yeah, that way you don't have all but behind the scenes would be like the Luthers trying to do their bullshit. And knowing that, like what I was talking about, like knowing the plan wouldn't work right, so something happens to like Mega Superman or whatever, it doesn't, like he wows out or something doesn't go right, and he's not as powerful.
Loses control, something. Yeah.
Like him and Superboy Prime sort of come up with a plan, like, oh yeah, let's make a Super Mega Man, not Mega Man,
fuck it, no,
Super Superman, and
Super fighting, Superman.
But Alex Luthor knows it's not going to work.
Something to say?
Because that's what he does. Luthor's just smart.
Yeah, I was just going to correct what I was saying earlier because I was calling him Darkseid and I mixed him up with Doomsday.
Sounds like an hour ago.
Doomsday when I said Darkseid, like way earlier.
That's fine.
Honestly, I don't know.
You know how long my hand's been up? It's been there for a while.
It wasn't up when I last checked it like a minute ago. So
no, I've been like as Cab was talking, I was like, all right, as soon as I find a break, I'm gonna fucking interject so Piper can say what she wants to say. I was trying.
Okay. I was considering when you finally noticed that the little hand was up that I was going to ask for a hall pass to go to the bathroom.
Y'all niggas been talking too much. I gotta go take a piss.
I gotta go potty.
I gotta go potty. I gotta pee.
So, Cab, are you like kind of your overview idea?
Yeah, that would be. Then you have a big war, and a lot of the super heroes and shit that you want to get rid of, they die.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the other ones, you get combined into the other versions or whatever. Like I never understood, like, how does it make which version stick around versus the other version? Like, why does Earth 2 Superman not stick around versus New Earth? You know what I mean? Like, which one did they decide? I don't understand that.
Well, they decided on Earth 1, or New Earth Superman, because how they did it was the ending was kind of cool. I mean, if you get anything, it gives you the good fight scene at the end. Because Superboy Prime, I don't know, you probably read where the Flash just basically put him through the Speed Force to try to take him out of the fight. But then he got out because he basically had tech that was like from the Anti-Monitor, and he could just absorb yellow sunlight without.
Yeah, it was the armor that would just like fed him direct sunlight.
So he basically got a lot more powerful. So
yeah.
Now, like I said, this was actually really cool. Superman and Kal-El take him on directly, and they actually going through space. It shows how fast they can actually travel through space.
Yeah, don't they fly through a star?
They fly through Rao, which is the red sun that Krypton was orbiting. Yeah. And then they land on Mogo, because Mogo, they basically had it planned, Mogo would be in that vicinity to catch the Supermen.
They were basically fighting each other as normies at that point.
Yeah, because once they went through, because once they went through the red sun, they would all be depowered, even Superboy Prime.
Yeah, it was just a straight up like fist fight at that point.
Yeah, and Superboy Prime beat he killed with his bare hands. He killed Kal-El, and then Superman came and
fed him some of that big dick
dicked him down at that point.
But I was never clear, like which how do they, like, some of there were still the heroes in all the universes still alive.
Mm-hmm.
How
You-
they
you
decide
act
which
as if
one
this
was
shit
the one
isn't
that's
just a
going to
fucking
survive
coin
into
flip.
the reboot kind of thing.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
know. I know. Like
You're putting a
I'm
lot.
putting way more
like,
thought
but
process
how do
than
they
fucking
figure
Jeff
it
Johns
out? How do they
apparently
know
did.
which characters to keep?
Well-
they got a fucking dartboard and they go, all right, who bitch gonna die this time? All right.
Well, see, what happened is one of the this happened. They showed this in the story after this. You know, the that 1 year story. For some reason, I cannot think of the name of it right now.
Their Vision Quest.
Yeah. But what happened in that story is they showed the monitors, which was the race that used to like watch all the infinite realities and stuff. They're back, and now there are 52 realities.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where the whole like 52 thing comes from.
That's sort of
That's
where
what the name of the story was. God bless. That was the 1 year story. It was called 52.
52.
That's
yeah.
what it was called. Yeah. Okay.
That's what pissed
yeah.
me off about the Infinite Crisis stuff is because what we're gonna do is we're gonna reset everything and just have one reality. Oh, by the way, there's now 52 of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, one of the things
let me just jerk off on your face.
We're gonna fix all this other stuff, and then we're gonna
do the exact same bullshit that got us into this problem, but worse. And then they fucking changed that too with Rebirth, didn't they?
Yeah, Rebirth basically was.
Yeah, because nobody liked New 52.
Yeah. Well,
52 was such a bad idea.
They had
oh shit.
Well, see what they had the 52 universes that they didn't do anything with. They were just there, right? They said, "Oh, we can use them later." That's literally what they said. Now we have them to use. That was the only reason Jeff Johns did it, because he wanted to use the other realities. They didn't do it. Then they did New 52, which all that was they used that same thing, but used it as a gimmick. That's like, oh, we're creating 52 new comics, like new number ones and shit like that.
Yeah, but they were using it as the reboots of the characters, but not really, because these were just some of the other realities.
Exactly. And they kind of like what they did is they did the pick and choose kind of thing. So we got this Superman here, we got this Batman from here, got this Green Lantern from here. Same name, same characters, quote unquote, just different. Like the only one I remember them saying that, like they said, the only ones whose stories are the same from years past would be Batman, and I was like, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah, the way I wish they would have keep going. It's sort of like with the whole Batman White Knight thing.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not a completely. I guess it is a different reality or whatever, but I don't think it's like in the whole multiverse. It's its own contained thing.
Yeah, it's just a story. Yeah,
I think it's actually supposed to take place in the animated series stuff. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't read it because Payback comes out in October, so I'm going to get it. But I think, it's just its own contained thing. It's not like, oh, this reality and then Superman from fucking reality, 69 comes in and more shit happens. It's like, no, it's just,
all right,
it's
I
just
gotta
Batman
say
and a pure Joker, and they're doing shit.
Why in the front flipping fuck do you have, they have 52, which was, 2006, 2007. And then, like, not even a fucking decade later, like, hey, we got another reboot that we're going to call the New 52. Like, come up with other fucking names for your reboots, you stupid cunts.
They should do like the another New 52, but what it is, it's the reality where the U.S. annexes Canada.
It's the New 52, but double.
Yeah.
No, we just split Canada into two states. We got French people and not French people. That's it. That's New 52.
Name, French
Superman
Canada and not French Canada.
Superman, he's like, true justice in the American way. Now he's got to say people in Quebec because they're technically Americans. That's it. And Batman moves his Batcave to Montreal.
Well, I think it's funny you mentioned. I think Metropolis was based off of
Toronto,
yeah. So that's kind of interesting you mentioned that. But yeah, that's always been DC's problem. They get after 10 years, they get a little squirmy and they want to reboot everything.
Well, it's because they write themselves into like a fucking corner. Like, oh shit, we got 39 Supermans fighting 52 Batmans, and it's like, come on, really? Just have fucking Superman, and like maybe it just offshoots storylines like the White Knight shit. You don't have to have different fucking realities every time.
Well, see,
I get they want to do it because sometimes, like, because one is the retcon things, but two is it's like time travel. It's just really easy to do.
Well, see, one of the issues that's a big problem with that is like you take Crisis on Infinite Earths. Exactly 10 years later, they did 0 Hour, which was supposed to clean up the problems that happened, that came from Infinite
And it
Earths.
literally did nothing.
It didn't really do much. I mean, had a cool story, how Jordan became a bad guy, and then he realized he wasn't a bad guy, and he, after he tried to extinguish the sun, he lit it back up.
Yeah, it's just being a bro.
And then they go to Infinite Crisis, where it's like, hey, remember all that shit we did before? Well, we're going to try to fix it one more time, right?
And we're going to completely fuck it up.
Yeah, we're going to completely fuck it up. And then they do New 52. It's like, hey, remember all those times we tried to fix everything? Fuck it.
Yeah, we're not even going to bother fixing it. Here's 52 more bullshit.
Yeah. And that's another thing that, like Piper said, they were telling stories from different Earths too, so it got really confusing. There was like they told a story of like another like Green Lantern, that was in Earth 2 or something like that. And I was like,
yeah, what? I was gonna say I get why they did that, because apparently the whole Hal Jordan like years later when the Rebirth stuff came back, that was like huge fucking deal.
Yeah,
and that was like did really well for him. They're sort of, I guess they were trying to do that before they actually did it to make Hal Jordan. Oh yeah, he's still Green Lantern, just not in this reality.
We'll see what it is.
What was the guy's name? It was Kyle Rayner.
Kyle Rayner. Yeah,
Rayner. Yeah, that's right. That was no one like
that. That was no. The thing was that wasn't even the Green Lantern I'm talking about. This was Alan Scott. This is like the Green Lantern from the 40s.
Oh well, here's the thing with your New 52. You could be talking about any fucking Green Lantern because it doesn't matter.
Well, see, even then they screwed up because they put that Green Lantern, like you said, it didn't matter, but they still put him on Earth 2.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, with 52 universes, we're just going to use the same one every fucking time.
2. We're using. We have 52 universes to choose of. We're going to use 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. They didn't use Earth C with all the cowgirls.
Yeah.
So.
No, Earth. What'd you call it? What'd you call it?
Earth,
Earth. Yeah, Earth. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This and Marvel still does it. But Marvel, when they've done it, it's been easier to figure out so far than when DC does this shit. But it is one of the things that I have been at a couple of conventions and had it really happens, the checking your nerd cred or whatever, geek cred kind of thing. So I have had dudes ask like, what's my favorite like Superman and this and that, and I'm like, dude, there's too many.
If I was at a convention and people asked me that, I'd say, shut up, nerd.
Right? Actually, there was one where the original Fox Spider-Man movies with I don't know, that cute emo kid, but yeah, that guy. I was at the first one of those. And I suddenly had like this complete other group all in Spider-Man garb come up to me while I was waiting for somebody else. And they were like, they asked me something about Spider-Man, and all I know is that my answer was, it depends on which reality or something like that. And apparently that was a good answer. So whenever I get cornered, that's been my answer. It depends on which universe, which reality, depending on what works.
Your answer should have been, which one is Aunt May dead?
That bitch.
Yeah, the one she's dead in is the best Batman universe.
Yeah. I want to buy all the comics for that universe.
One more thing, and that is that I think this has proven that we should all be writing for DC instead of whoever wrote that shit. There was a lot of names, and that's actually part of the problem. Was there's a lot of names, and that could be half of why everything's convoluted and somewhat disconnected in a way. We should all write for DC and reboot them again, but good, as long as matches are kept away from me.
We also need to get Schmill in on that one because he loves writing Green Lantern shit. Apparently,
huge Green Lantern nerd.
Oh yeah, he knows everything about Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm. But what was I going to say? The thing. Oh gosh. The thing, the thing. I'm
the thing. Oh, you gay, Cam.
That reminds me. I have a question too.
Yeah, sure.
I can't remember which thing summed up, because at one point Power Girl was Supergirl's clone, not
I
cousin
don't know for
from a
certain.
different reality, and I can't remember what in the hell helped clear that or change that.
That was literally an Infinite Crisis. They just dropped that in there. So, oh, you're from a different reality. But the clone thing was in.
Okay, because she was supposed to be. Yeah, I was gonna say for the longest time she was Supergirl's clone, but
because they had no idea
progressed.
about other realities and stuff like that. So, they just assumed.
But wasn't she like Lex's invention?
No.
She was working for the bad guy.
No. That was a different Supergirl. That was a. I got to give Dan Didio credit. He's the editor in chief of DC. He made a good point. He said he was going. They got the Superman blast coaster at like Six Flags. And, so he said, so I'm here, checking out, and they got these like big billboards, talking about, different characters, Superman, he's, the last son of Krypton, blah, blah, blah. Then they, talk about, like Jonathan and Martha Kent, all the, Lois Lane. Then they get to Supergirl and they said a protoplasmic entity from unknown space. And he's like, that's not right. So that was like one of.
Oh, I meant Power. I meant I meant Power Girl was a clone of Supergirl.
I think that's what they implied in the Supergirl
one of the villains
comic.
For a while.
No, Power Girl wasn't ever a bad guy. Supergirl went bad a couple of times because people were fucking with her.
No, for real, Power Girl was briefly a bad guy, would fight against Supergirl for a while. It was very, very brief because she came from
that'd be gay.
She was supposed to come from wherever the fuck Supergirl.
Did they ever make out with each other?
Oh, God.
No. Gay is bad.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it would be, but awesome.
Right?
But also,
Power Girl is busy. No, wait, no.
Yes.
Harley belongs with Poison Ivy.
But Power Girl also has ginormous hands.
You're right.
I'm trying to say she got a dick.
Okay, hold on. Kat, what the fuck did you just say?
I don't care what anyone says. I love her outfit. I don't care if a boob window doesn't make any sense.
No, you
He said big hands. I'm like, is that implying that she has a dick? Is that what you're trying to say?
No.
That's feet.
We're not saying that Power
Well,
Girl's
that's
a
how you can tell,
tranny.
like, when there's like a tranny that like looks passable.
Oh, God,
but then
stop right now.
What?
Stop. No.
Fuck off.
Stop. No, we're not going there.
I'm gonna get Scrump in here.
No.
Power Girl. Fuda Power
He'll
Girl.
explain it better than I can.
Hey, Mulatto, at a minute, at
Just
1 hour
cut out all
24
that
and about
shit.
15
Jesus
seconds, just cut that
fucking
out.
Leave it.
Yeah.
No, leave it.
No.
Okay.
I was just wondering if
We have
anyone
spent
knew off
literally
the top
the
of your
last
head,
hour and a
because
half
lot of
talking about
times
how
I can't remember,
convoluted DC
especially
is and why
older
we shouldn't
comics,
pay attention to
and
it.
I
And you're
actually
like,
have to look
by
at
the
that.
way, do you remember this stupid convoluted bullshit?
Yeah, you're sort
and
of
I
proving
can-
the point of DC's. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, remember this Power Girl? No, it wasn't that Power Girl. It was this Supergirl. Oh no, it was a clone.
See, that's why I'm still staying on.
And I
topic.
do know
I'm
the
about to
reason-
Look it up though, because now.
And I do know the reasons for the boob window.
Because boobs are fucking dope, dude.
What's that?
I mean,
Well,
come on.
yeah, but I know why the original reason was for the boob window.
Those are horny lines.
Look, Mr. Artist Man.
I thought. I mean, I know the story.
No, this is an actual story. I don't even know.
Okay, the story behind the boob window is that originally in her universe, in Earth 2, that boob window was the S logo.
Okay.
So, just like a regular super logo, like Superman, Supergirl, that kind of thing. When they moved her, this is what it's kind of funny about that, going to Infinite Crisis from Crisis on Infinite Earths. They literally put Power Girl in there and forgot that she was Superman's cousin. And they said, but wait, Supergirl is Superman's cousin. We already got Supergirl. We can't have two Supergirls.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
We can't have two cousins of Superman. So they took the logo off and then thought about it, and so we don't have anything to replace it with. So they just left it open.
So yeah, this is a case where a palette swap just wouldn't cut it.
Right.
It works. Okay, I figured it out. I was going off of DC animated. universe.
Okay, yeah.
In the DC animated universe, she is a clone and was a clone of Supergirl and was an enemy for the longest time.
At any
She ever
rate,
became a good
thank
guy.
God we
Right.
figured out that fucking mystery. I can sleep
so
soundly
that's
knowing that in the
Luchasaur
DC
is
animated
involved
universe,
eventually.
at one time, Power Girl was a fucking
Yeah,
clone
well-
and she did some fucked up shit.
She got nice titties
you say
in the
that like it's a
DC
good
one?
thing.
Animated universe invented Harley.
Yes. I mean, yeah, you got a point there.
Oh, okay.
They've
The
done-
only
I was
recent
gonna
Harley
say, they've
that's
done some
actually
neat-
good.
okay,
Come on
is
now,
the
Harley's all
Batman
right.
Ninja.
Well, not in recent yet time,
And that's
but
only
Harley's
because
all right.
I would literally fuck the voice of the Seiyu. Look, nigga. All I'm saying. Look, to be fair, I would fuck all the voices of those Japanese people because I love Japanese voice acting compared to in the U.S. We're just like fuck it, just say some bullshit. That's why the abridged series that people do work so fucking well because English voice acting is a fucking farce. But in Japan, that's treated like as a legit fucking profession that people respect you for doing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's my weeby fucking tangent out of the way.
Yes.
Probably.
Gotcha.
Is there a Japanese Power Girl?
Probably.
Probably.
All right. So to make sure.
So I guess I should hit on what I thought would be real quick. What I thought would be
Yeah.
My thing would be obviously wipe out everything that led up to Infinite Crisis because we don't need all that extra existential bullshit.
Poor
we don't
Blue
need
Beetle.
Rand. Well, no, we can kill all Blue Beetle, but we'll make it more impactful. Give me a minute.
Okay.
So, basically no Rand Thanagar War, no fucking
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I'd probably leave in is Crisis of Conscience. Where the league is like, oh, now they're discussing. Remember that shit we did? Yeah, we need to tell Batman. No, we're not going to tell Batman. Fuck you. I'm going to tell Batman, kind of thing. Like,
is Batman the dad? Is that how it works?
That was useful. Yes, Batman's
Okay.
the dad.
They basically wiped out Batman's mind and didn't tell him he did it. So but he's already figured out that they did it to him. So he's like kind of low key.
He's waiting for them to tell him. Like, you guys niggas,
It's
gonna tell me you did this?
Dude, it's essentially that. Like at the end of Infinite Crisis, Identity Crisis, the Flash keeps looking at Batman and he says, "There's something you want to tell me, Wally?" And he's giving him this look like, almost like, "Please tell me the truth."
Or I'm gonna get the belt.
And then Wally goes, "No."
It's Superman's the mom.
Yeah, Superman's mom. Yeah, but no. So like I said, all that shit's wiped out. The thing with Beetle, I would still have him domed. I think that should be the catalyst to kick this off. That should be and it should be a lot more impactful than just. And I think they should all be kind of concerned, especially after what happened in Identity Crisis. It's like, oh shit, hey Ted, do you need some help? In fact, I would do the opposite. Instead of Ted going to people help, like, no, I don't need help. This is my shit. This is my company.
Beetle, man.
No, well, not like that. It's just like, this is my company. This is something's going on with my stuff. I'll take care of it. Yeah. Thanks for the info of let me know that somebody's been using my fucking debit card. How the fuck do you withdraw $20 million from a debit card?
Yeah, that was it. Like, they stole my wallet. Took 20. What? How does that work?
It's like, okay, go up, punch the code. Deet. How much you want?
20 million.
000000000.
That's like a 5-year-old
that just
getting a
kicked off
debit
my
card.
autism.
Like, I'm gonna rob the bank.
If you
now.
look at most ATMs, you can
like,
only
oh, man, I
withdraw
got
like
$20
$400 at a time.
Yeah.
So if somebody's pulling out 20 million,
I was gonna say that's the biggest max I've ever seen in an ATM. So they stood there forever.
He got that.
no, it don't matter because an
that,
ATM just has a hard limit on how much you can pull out in a single transaction. But he still can only pull out 400 a bit. Oh yeah.
My guess is, which was badly explained in the story, they meant that $20 million got transferred out of his account. Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I know, but
yeah,
but then they mentioned
like his wallet got stolen.
But they intentionally mentioned an ATM card.
It's just a super ATM where you can take out like $1 million a piece.
It just made stupid shit.
Right?
Think about it.
See,
the entire reboot is predicated on a guy's wallet getting stolen.
See, and what would be cool is like instead of like him finding out, him finding out on his own or something like that, it should be Oracle like letting him know. Say, hey Ted, just to let you know, because of all the other shit that's been going on, we've been keeping an eye on everybody's personal information. Just be safe. and somebody just took $20 million out of your
Totally
account.
not creepy or anything.
Well, no, I mean, it was something they kind of agreed to because, like, now they're all in this together kind of thing because people are literally trying to kill them
Yeah,
all.
you stupid
That's
It'd be
what
funny
they
if
say anyway.
Oracle like owned his own LifeLock business, and that's how he did it.
Her.
Yeah,
Or-
Oracle's
yeah,
always
her.
been a chick. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, never mind. I know who the Oracle is now. I couldn't. It was fucking what's her name?
Are you getting confused with Calculator?
Yeah.
Calculator, yeah, because he was the bad guy
you
version
are.
of Oracle.
Yeah.
essentially.
Okay. I got it.
So, yeah.
All right, straight now.
So I can say it's like, hey Ted, it's basically like you said, it'd be kind of like a LifeLock for superheroes kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, hey Ted, like somebody just stole like your money. So wait, how much to get? All of it? Oh fuck.
Ted, your Blue Beetle identity's on the dark web.
But the whole thing is like Ted, instead of like going to other people for help, I can see him kind of lone wolfing it because he kind of wants to prove himself. He's like, nobody's ever taken Blue Beetle seriously, so I'm gonna prove that I'm actually good at this shit.
Yeah, not a jobber.
Not just a jobber. I can actually go and like hold my own, and I'll figure this shit out. Because obviously they know it's got to be hero related. Because nobody would just steal Ted Kord's money, like that. So that's when he goes and searching and everything. My version, Batman would be trying to talk to like Ted. You need some help? No, leave me alone, Bruce. Leave me alone. I got this. And then it would be he goes to the Alps and he finds this and he's like thinking, oh shit, they got all our shit kind of thing. And that's when he finally decides, you know what, I'm gonna call Batman. He gives the call Batman, but is having a problem getting through because they're in like a secure facility.
Ooh, yeah.
And so when it finally gets through, the only thing Bruce hears is bang. So Maxwell Lord's already killed him at that point. I would not have Wonder Woman kill Max off at the beginning. Because like I said, the way they framed it is like she's just a murderer, because they like when she killed Max Lord, they like broadcasted all over the world. It was like he basically sacrificed himself so superheroes could be discredited, which that's kind of a dumb plan,
Yeah,
kill me.
Wasn't the way the story was told, it wasn't told in chronological order at the point?
Well, yeah, but if they give it the chronological order, she kills Max Lord and is broadcast throughout the world, and then everybody knows she did it.
Right.
Because, just right there on TV and stuff like that. But it's a dumb plan because he literally says, you have to kill me to stop me. And it's basically saying he set it all up so she would, discredit all the superheroes,
Right.
And I don't think Wonder Woman would be dumb enough to fall for something like that, in all honesty. So my thing was, it's like he actually does take control of Superman and like they're going through, he's actually got him rampaging through the cities and shit like that. And all this is broadcast. And like at this point, people know it's Max Lord, trying to fucking, control Superman. And then he basically said, I could see it like he's confronting Batman and, he tells Batman, you got to kill me. Of course, Batman's going to have a big dilemma about killing somebody. And then, like, as soon as Batman, he's thinking, do I do it? Do I, I got to save Superman. I got to save everybody. And then Wonder Woman comes up behind Max and then breaks his neck. Yeah, I mean, it still gets the point across,
right? You had to think
that Wonder Woman did something. I guess you could say bad, but at the same time, it was justified. Yeah. But what happens is because we know how the world is. Instead of everybody, like in the original story, everybody was just against Wonder Woman because they thought, oh, she murdered this guy in cold blood. No, you're going to have a split. Some people's like, no, she was justified. No, she wasn't. Well, fuck you. Well, fuck you too. Then you're going to have the populace fighting each other because half wants half wants Wonder Woman to stand trial and go to jail. The other half's like, no, she was justified for what she did. It almost, my idea is almost Infinite Crisis almost leads to a semi like Civil War type thing where it also splits the superhero community. Right. Where it's like, no, Diana, she might have been right, but she still needs to stand trial. She needs to face a jury and blah, blah, blah. And, and half of them are like, yeah, she needs to. And the other half, no, absolutely not. It goes back to the identity crisis thing. There's kind of, you have a league and a league, they're kind of split. We're doing this because, we're trying to protect. And the other one said, no, you got to do this because it's right. So you're basically taking that small, I don't say small plot, but that main plot point of that one, and now you're expanding it to the entire world.
Actually have it
essentially
you mean actually connected to what was going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of just being, by the way, the Blue Beetle died, and then Superboy Prime.
It would just all be about.
I wouldn't even have, my version wouldn't even have Superboy Prime or any of those guys in it.
Wouldn't even be in that shit. It would just be a Civil
War
story.
Yeah, it would only be the Infinite Crisis is them finding each other. Yeah. We could. Yeah, and it's all because Ted Cord died.
Yeah, see that's sort of how I was sort of explaining how it started out like a Watchmen sort of thing.
Yeah,
or it's like an unconnected thing, and then some weird shit's going on, and how it connects to the actual main story.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're basically sort of doing the same thing, but it turns into a civil war with super peoples.
Right. Now, and then at the same time, then things start getting leaked. Take a little bit from Piper's idea. Things start getting leaked out on the internet. It's like, well, did you know that Wonder Woman's civilian identity is Diana Prince? So now they know where she works. They know what she does. What she does in her, normal, regular time. So
Kev, you are the
found her
thirstiest
Firebase
motherfucker
account?
I've ever met in life.
Yeah.
And I know Scrump. I'm good friends with Scrump, for fuck's sake. That nigga so thirsty he got himself 2 traps. And you're still thirsty.
Well, I'm just saying.
Oh, I peed a little.
Shit, dog. Fuck. Anyway.
So that was at about a minute, 1 hour and 37. So if you want to cut that,
You better not cut you up, man.
Oh wait, whoa! I mean, if you want to flex, man, you come on.
I got my nuts ready.
So yeah, no. So my idea is like we're having a fracture in the superhero community. Now people know who Diana Prince is because this is all being manipulated by who? Lex fucking Luthor, because that's what he does. At this point, he's already been he's already been kicked out of the presidency. He thought he had everything straight. He was the president of the fucking United States. Superman and Batman took that shit from him, so he's gonna fucking ruin them. But he's not gonna start with them because that'd be too obvious. Because they're, we gotta say Batman and Superman are a little too smart for that shit. Go after the one who would be more easy to manipulate, Wonder Woman.
Because she's a woman, get it?
Well, no, it's not because she's a woman. Yeah, it's because she's a woman. No,
yeah, like don't even bullshit, dude. Come on.
No. But the whole point is like she seems like unrelated, but he knows about. We always call, they always call it the Trinity. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Those are the three. Those are the 3 standards in the DC universe, right? Well, you got to take one out to get rid of the other 2. So the idea is like start going after one. Then you got like Superman, who's been kind of not really on the fence, but he's kind of like, maybe Diana should stand trial, but I, feel that even if she stood trial, I think she would be, she'll be exonerated because she was right in what she did. Batman, he's kind of, I would say he's actually siding with Diana because in that case, he actually saved Superman's life and kind of saved his life too. So it's like a double-edged thing. He's like Batman would also be like the neutral party. He's like whichever way I think would be okay because I think she'll be all right either way. But once like identities start going out, then you're throwing that shit out the door.
But you could change the whole series name to Identity Crisis instead of Infinite Crisis.
I mean, yeah, honestly,
that would make way more sense when you're doing
because you wouldn't need the crisis part. It would just be identity, or infinite.
I'm
still waiting for DC's midlife crisis.
It's just like, oh my god, just a bunch of boomer.
$20 million
I'm just waiting for DC's Where's Blue Beetle's ATM card. Yeah, maybe it was like a gift card from Walmart. It was $20 million.
Did we ever find that shit kind of thing? Right?
I mean, yeah, I got tires to buy for a car, dude. Come on, I need it.
Yeah, that's $20 million, man. I could have bought 3 cars, man.
Get out. 2 Walmarts.
2 Walmarts.
Everything in it.
But no, yeah. So like I said, and the way my story would end is like after they find out like Luthor, and it would go through some things like I would actually have Clark's identity be exposed.
Yeah.
Because like and that would be, and what would be funny about that is somebody else figures it out and not Luthor, because there was a storyline. I would actually play up to that. There was a storyline where one of Luthor's like people that work for him, they were trying to figure out things about Superman. He basically told, "Hey Lex, he's Clark Kent."
Oh, so you're saying some normie just like, hey,
not a normie. He was like a researcher and things like that. He basically figured.
No, I mean your version. No. Your version, some normie would figure it out.
No, yeah, but it'd be a normie. But like I said, I'm telling you this story just to kind of make sense, why Lex wouldn't believe it. So the guy said, "No, seriously, Lex, it's Clark Kent." Clark Kent is Superman. I mean, look, you just take the glasses off, and it's like same person. And Lex would not believe it. You know why? His ego wouldn't allow it.
That was the only way you could really do that.
Yeah,
because he didn't figure it out.
I mean, Lex is literally one of the smartest people on Earth. You're telling me he hasn't figured out Superman is Clark Kent?
Yeah, he's got like fucking space station or something, doesn't he? He's got to be pretty smart.
So that's like always like the weirdest thing. I say, you're telling me the smartest guy on Earth can't figure out this guy's just wearing glasses?
Yeah, well, he's got all this technology, dude. You could run so many like search pattern things, and like you can tell people's identity by the shit they do.
Like triangulate him and shit like that.
Yeah, so like Clark Kent's, looking at his
I can even
Gmail.
Explain why it wouldn't fucking work.
And then also,
I can explain right now why
Superman appears.
Why Lex would never figure it out. It's Occam's razor.
You would figure it out.
Or the failure to understand Occam's razor, where it's like the most simple explanation is the most logical one. This nigga is just so smart. Yep. He's like, there's no fucking way. That's fucking stupid. There's no way that motherfucker just puts on glasses as his secret identity. And then some guy goes, and how the normie explains this is the normie also wears glasses, and he just pulls them the fuck off, and Lex goes, motherfucker.
Yeah, now I'm Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like he gets mad at himself and shit like that. Like, really?
No. Then what you can do is like Luthor. He decides to wear glasses, and he's a different character.
Puts on a wig.
Yeah. No, he just puts on glasses. He's the ball guy with glasses.
No. But here's the funny thing. I remember this was on that Justice League Action TV. In that Justice League Action TV show they've been doing on Cartoon Network, they actually had a moment where like apparently Superman forgot he was Superman. And he actually, Clark Kent was all like, yeah, like I think it was Firestorm. Like, he literally pulls his shirt off and he like had nothing underneath. He's like, "What are you doing?" Puts his shirt back on, and then he says, "No, seriously, you're Superman." He's like, "I'm not Superman." Firestorm literally takes his glasses off, and Clark goes, "Oh." But yeah, so mine would lead to like Superman's identity gets out. Batman's is about to get out. Now this would be interesting because this was originally the idea that in Infinite Crisis that Dick Grayson was going to get killed, right? But they changed it. They changed the idea because I think at that point they had too many like mainline good heroes were getting killed and shit. So it's like maybe not. Maybe we'll leave Dick alone, kind of thing. I would actually have him get killed because the reason why he gets killed, it's like at the same time duel thing. The person who is about to release Batman's identity, Nightwing tracks him down, and he's trying to stop him, but the guy's like and they kill each other. So Nightwing basically saves Batman's identity, but he had to kill to do it. And,
that makes sense. Yeah, because Batman's whole thing is, you can't kill people.
Yeah, so he's basically it's like I'm breaking the rules essentially
to save you, cover your ass.
Right, exactly, CYA kind of thing. And that's like kind of his last things. He basically tells Bruce, he's like, "You're not always right. I love you." He's like, "I love you, but you're not always right," and he dies. And that can lead to old Batman's like, "Oh, okay, I'm questioning everything about myself now."
Yeah, then you can go on they go on their little walkabout a year later.
Yeah, then if you want to do 1 year later, that's fine. You can take the three of them. And they're like, "You know what? We need to go figure shit out." And
then he comes back and he just starts murdering everyone.
No, not murdering everyone. He just
bank robbers. He fucking pulls their head off. Goes crazy.
Just starts knifing people in the back.
So I had an idea about that whole.
Just be
Batman's
like that
identity.
Fucking. This is American Man.
Instead of fucking Nightwing manages to kill the guy, the guy kills Nightwing, and then. Mm-hmm. They post it onto the dark web or whatever, or mainstream media, and it turns out that Batman is actually Aunt May. she's fucking everywhere, man.
That bitch.
Aunt May is everywhere. I don't like Aunt May.
You don't like Aunt May?
No, I want to wipe her out from reality, like all of them.
I think the biggest villains of like the graded 0.5 guys, people would be
Scott Summers, TBH,
Aunt May in Sobriety,
and Cyclops. Yeah. TBH. So yeah, I think we had some good ideas.
Yeah, fucking Christ.
At least some of them were like not retarded. Let's put it that way.
This one obviously I had to go a little longer because it was so convoluted. Oh God, I'm so I got. I hope everybody enjoys it because it was a lot to cover. The next
you can expect another Aunt May joke.
I don't know, man. Maybe I'll have some really good zingers. Aunt May joke, yeah. I'll work one in somehow.
What's the next one?
Well, wait a minute. Let me see something real quick because it might be easy.
Aunt May jokes aplenty.
Working the Aunt May joke. Let me check. Yeah, it's one more day. You definitely get the Aunt May joke in.
Right now, dude.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Sticky
one more
note
day.
on my monitor. Go on.
The thing about one more day, it literally centers around Aunt May die.
Yeah, I'm not a huge comic book man, but I do know that one. So
yeah. So yeah, we'll get that recorded when it comes. But right now, guess it's time to close out. Huh?
And we should write for DC because if we combine all four of these ideas, probably the best thing ever, and we'll all be fucking millionaires. Well, fuck them. We'll just steal their shit. We'll just
true.
Working for DC, you ain't gonna make $1 million.
Well, I mean, if you wrangle it right, you can. I mean,
you gotta be Ethan Van Sciver, work for 20 years, and then go make your own comic book to make you a millionaire for DC. That's how it works.
I don't know. Todd McFarlane was getting like.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Well, this was back when that shit was like super popular.
Oh yeah, where they were selling millions of copies.
Yeah. Nowadays, no, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
All these comic book writers live in studio apartments.
If you're starving on $500 a week, I mean, shit.
Starving artists.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they all live in New York, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, like regular folks like us, yes, we could live on $500 a week. Somebody else, somebody who thinks they got to live in New York City because it's New York City, no.
You know what? Those are good. Solid.
Whatever. All right, Piper, what is your final thoughts? That's a good one.
Yep.
She's not wrong.
Okay, just burn it all.
That's probably the best thought out of all.
I mean, you've seen those titties, right?
Just get rid of everything.
I am the best.
Oh, well, you said it. Yeah, you said it. All right, Cab, you got any?
I have it.
Cab, you got any final thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah, like the entire concept of the Infinite Crisis is a good idea to like set straight the universe, but they just completely like no and do 52. And just like I said earlier, just jerked off on your face while they're doing it. So.
Well, one of the things that got me, if you notice, like if you saw any of the covers for the books, they all try to look like movie posters.
Yes, I noticed that. Someone was like, "What the fuck? This is not a comic book cover; it's like a movie."
Yeah, and it's funny because like usually the character, the people who are creating it, it's at the bottom when it says like by Jeff Johns, blah blah. No, they put it at the fucking top like a marquee. It's like Jeff Johns and blah blah blah.
It's like, dude, you didn't write Rebirth yet, so don't put your name at the top.
No, he had wrote Rebirth that then.
Oh, he had wrote it at that point. What was?
Yeah, that point. That point, he had already. That's what I was talking about. He had. That was a situation where they gave him too much power. Because
okay. I'm trying.
Because he'd already done Rebirth. And he'd
that's
rebooted,
right. Yeah.
He did Rebirth. He rebooted the Green Lantern Corps. And actually added the Spectrums.
Yeah. I was thinking spectrums. Like Infinite Crisis happened like a year or two later or something like that.
No. This was all that was for. And then they said, "Hey, can you do this big book?" He's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Give me carte blanche. And they're like, "All right." And I was like, you shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake.
Okay, well then he gets top billing because he did write Rebirth at that point, and he literally saved DC.
That's true. My final thoughts is kind of they didn't take anything, just the very little of what they built on from Identity Crisis to put into this, and it made no sense. Identity Crisis was such a strong story that it could have had repercussions for years to come, and they literally did nothing with it, and that's a shame. That's a real shame. But anyway, I'm going to close this out now. Thank you everybody for listening. If you get a chance, check us out on the Patreon. If you want to pass a couple bucks, we'll help Cab pay for that facial hair surgery. That means that getting some added.
Dude, I have a luscious beard. Fuck you. I'm literally combing it right now.
But yeah, if you get a chance, check that out. Check out our website, graded.5.com. Check out our YouTube channel, graded.5. Always, you can get in touch with us on Twitter if you want to yell at us, at graded.5, spelled out. And that's pretty much it. And like I said, when you hear this episode, you'll see the length of it. And just give it a chance. I'm saying this at the end because that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
put
I'm
that
gonna
at the
record a
beginning.
thing at the beginning. Is tell Jordan put it in. Say, hey, could you put this at the beginning? Say, hey, please listen to the thing.
I mean, this
Put a
isn't the longest
disclaimer
episode
at the
I
very
think we've done
at
for
the
the
beginning
site.
of it. Like, warning: this
Yeah,
episode is
dude,
way too
Identity Crisis
fucking
was
long.
like
Give it a chance.
almost 3 hours.
I think Identity Crisis is longer. Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll fucking know what we're about.
Yeah. But yeah, and and
But it was so
by the time
good.
they hear this one, they'll have heard that one though. So at least that'll make sense. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a good segue. So anyway, and like I said, I hope everybody enjoyed it, and you all have a good night.